Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will work a capital budgeting exercise. You want to call it an exercise, you want to call it a CPA exam simulation, you want to call it a CMA exercise, you want to call it a college exercise, it doesn't matter. It deals with net present value. So we need to learn how to compute the operating cash flow. We need to know how to use the time value of money. We need to learn how to discount the future cash flow to find the net present value, whether to accept or reject a project. So Summit Company is considering introducing a new line of premium outdoor coolers. To produce these coolers, the company must purchase a molding machine costing $120,000. The machine will be used for 5 years and expected to have a salvage value of $25,000. So we pay for it $120,000 now, we will get $25,000 when we resell it 5 years later. The machine will be housed in a vacant storage building already owned by the company. If Summit does not use the building for this project, it can sell the building and the land today for $90,000 after tax. Well, so what do we call this warehouse, the $90,000 after tax? That's an opportunity cost because we can sell it. Now we're not going to sell it. Do we include this $90,000 in our discussion, in our computation? And the answer is yes. The projected unit sales for the cooler are as follow: 4,000 in year 1, 6,000 in year 2, 9,000 in year 3, 8,000 in year 4, and 5,000 in year 5. Those are the anticipated selling unit. The selling price for year 1 is expected to be $30 per unit, and management expects selling to increase by 3% every year. So the first year it will be $30 per unit, then the price will increase every year by 3%. Variable production cost in year 1 is expected to be $16 per unit, and production cost is expected to increase at a 6% per year rate. So it starts at $16 variable, then it will increase 6% per year. Summit uses a corporate tax rate of 25%, and the machine will be depreciated using a 5-year MACRS rate, and these are the rate: 20% depreciated in year 1, 32% in year 2, 19.2% in year 3, 11.52% in year 4, and 11.52% in year 5, and that's the MACRS depreciation. The project requires initial investment in net working capital of $12,000 at year 0. So we need additional supplies, inventory, equipment to start the project. And after that, net working capital at the end of each year must equal to 12% of that year sales revenue. Also, we need net working capital throughout the years, and we estimate it to be 12% of sales for that year. And all remaining net working capital will be recovered at the end of year 5. Great. The required rate of return on this project is 10%, so we need to earn 10%. The required: compute the annual projected cash flows, compute the net present value, and tell us whether you would accept or reject this project. Now, is this possible this will be a CPA exam simulation? I highly doubt it because it's going to take a little bit of time, but you might be familiar with it. This might be a CMA question, could be a CMA complete, exercise, or some sort of a problem that you have to solve. College, for sure. Now let's go ahead and start this exercise, and I'm going to break it down into steps. If you want to copy the information from the slide, because I will not be referencing the slide, I will be working with the numbers. I would assume you have a copy of it or you copied it down. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. Whether you are taking a finance course or preparing for the CPA, CMA, or CFA exam, finance doesn't have to feel confusing or overwhelming. Most students struggle not because finance is too hard, but because concepts build on each other. Formulas change with one assumption, and classes often move way too fast to keep up. At Farhat Lectures, we slow the process down. We explain the intuition behind the numbers, why formulas work, what each variable means, and how everything connects to real decision. When the logic becomes clear, finance becomes simple and manageable. You stop memorizing and you start truly understanding. Ready for finance to finally click? Start your free trial at farhatlectures.com. First, we have to determine the initial investment at year 0. At year 0, we need basically 3 things. We need the machine, and we're going to assume this is the machine, and this machine will cost us $120,000. That's the first cost that we have to take into account at year 0. Also, we said we are going to account for the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost for the building, because the building could be sold. We're not selling it. Therefore, it's an opportunity cost of $90,000 we have to add to the cost of the project. And we need certain supplies and inventory initial net working capital of $12,000. Therefore, the total investment at year 0 is in total $222,120 for the machine cost, $90,000 as an opportunity cost, and $12,000 as net working capital. So year 0 cash outflow is negative $222,000. Next step, we would look at the annual sales revenue, the selling price, if you remember, starting at $30 and grow 3% per year. So the price per year, year 1 is $30. Year 2, we're going to sell it for $30.90. Year 3, we're going to take $30.90 times 1.03, 3%, $31.84. Year 4, $32.78. Year 5, the price will be $33.77. Now what we do is we take the unit per every year times the related price for that year, and we will get the revenue per year. So this is the revenue per year, which of course we need. Then we compute the operating cost. You remember there's a $16 variable cost per unit, and that $16 would grow at 6% every year. So the cost per year 1 is $16 to build this unit, variable cost. The year 2 is $16.69, year 3 is $17.98. Again, we're taking the previous cost and multiplying it by 1.06. $19.05 in year 4 and $20.20 in year 5. Therefore, our cost for year 1 is 4,000 unit times 16. For year 2, 6,000 unit times 16.96, so on and so forth, to get to the cost per unit, the variable cost per unit. The next thing is we will discuss our depreciation cost, and this is the MACRS depreciation table that will be given to you, or they will tell you, for example, depreciation on a straight line basis. Here we're keeping it more realistic, as you would have to complete your taxes. So the machine is $120,000, 20% in year 1, 32% in year 2, which will give us $38,400 in year 2 in depreciation. Year 3, 19.2%, $23,040. Year 4, 11.52, $13,824. And year 5, 11.52, which will give us depreciation of $13,824. Again, in your textbook, in your CPA course, they might say take this 120 and divide it by 5 or 6 or 4 to make it easy, but this is the actual tax depreciation. So the accumulated depreciation after 5 years, so if we take the depreciation every year and we'll add back the depreciation, they will add up to $113,088, because we still have half a year we're not going to depreciate the asset. So the adjusted basis is the cost minus the accumulated depreciation. So we have a basis, adjusted basis of $6,912. Why is this needed? Because we are going to sell this asset later. We are going to sell it specifically for $25,000. So we're going to take whatever we get minus the adjusted basis to get to the taxable gain or loss. But just copy this number down. This is the adjusted basis. Basically the book value, but the book value for tax purposes. Now we are ready to compute taxable income, which is revenue per year minus the operating cost per year minus the depreciation per year. And we have all this information, the $120,000 from the revenue minus the operating cost minus the depreciation will give us year 1, $32,000, year 2, $45,240, year 3, $101,604.60, year 4, $95,980.43, and year 5, $53,004.16. Again, all this information, the revenue, the operating cost, and the depreciation, are coming from the previous slides that we computed. Now we need to compute our taxes. Our tax rate, the assumption is 25%. Now what we do is we take this number multiplied by, this number here multiplied by 25%, because this is earnings before taxes. We pay taxes of $8,000 in year 1. In year 2, $11,310, which is the operating cash flow times 25%. Year 3, the tax will be $25,401.15. Year 4, $23,995.11. And year 5, $53,004.16 times 25%. So basically what we did is these figures here, each one of them will be multiplied by 25% to come up with the tax bill. Now what do we do with the tax bill? We need to subtract the tax bill. Now we're going to take revenues minus operating costs minus taxes. Again, I'm showing you this step by step. The operating cash flow. Well, this works because depreciation reduced taxes already, so adding back depreciation is embedded in the tax calculation approach. So all we have to do now to come up with operating cash flow is take revenue minus operating cost minus taxes, because the depreciation, rather than adding the depreciation, it's taken into account. So we'll take revenue minus operating cost minus taxes will give us $48,000 of cash flow in year 1, operating cash flow OCF. Year 2, $72,330. Year 3, $99,243.45. Year 4, $85,809.32. Year 4, that was year 4, $85,809.32. And year 5, $54,577.12. Now we need to include the required net working capital, because remember, we need those supplies and inventory every year, and it will start at $12,000 given in year 1, then it will be 12% of sales for every year. So we're going to start with 12,000. In year 1, we have 120,000 of sales times 12%. Year 2, 185,400 of sales times 12%. And we'll do the same for year 3, year 4, and year 5. Year 5, at the end of the project, net working capital goes to 0. Now, in this step, we are going to compute the change in net working capital. Capital budgeting uses the change, not the balance. So what does that mean? It means in year 1, we purchased 12,000 in year 0 at the beginning, 12,000 for supplies and inventory. In year 1, we needed 14,400, which is 12% times sales, which we computed in the prior slide. That's how much we needed, but we already purchased 12,000 in year 0 at the beginning of the year. Therefore, the cash outflow is 2,400. In year 2, the needed amount is 22,248, but we already have 14,400. Therefore, the net cash flow is the difference of 7,848. Same thing in year 3. We'll take what we need in year 3 minus what we had from year 2, and the difference is the net needed. And we recover all the remaining net working capital in year 5. It means we have it. We can resell the supplies, the inventory that we have not used up. Now we're going to compute the terminal salvage value. This is the end. At the end, what's going to happen is we are going to sell the machine for $25,000. Remember the machine that we purchased for $120? We're going to sell for $25,000. Remember, when we sell it, we have to pay taxes because we might have a gain on it. The adjusted basis is $6,914. Remember, I told you this is the book value for tax purposes, the adjusted basis, which was cost minus the depreciation. You have to go back to the depreciation, and it was $120,000 minus approximately $113,000 of accumulated depreciation. So the adjusted basis $6,912. We're selling the asset more than the adjusted basis. We are going to have a gain of $18,088. Now the gain will have to be taxed. It means we have to pay 25% taxes. So we have to pay $4,512 on this gain. So what's left is $25,000, what we received minus the taxes. What's left from the net proceeds after taxes are paid for this machine is $20,478. And this will be part of our positive cash flow. Let's compute the total investment cash flow. In year 0, we paid for the machine. We accounted for the opportunity cost and the initial net working capital. Then in year 1, we needed net working capital of negative 2,400, year 2 negative 7,848, year 3 negative 12,125, year 4 we had positive. Remember, it's the change, and at this point we had plenty of inventory and supplies, and in year 5 we go back and recover the 90,000. We assume now it's available for us. The net recovery of the net working capital 31,470. The after tax selling the asset is 20,478. So now we have 90,000 plus 31,470 plus 20,478 plus a total of 141,948 54 cents. The next thing we are going to do is compute the total project cash flow. Remember, year 0 to 220, year 1 it was plus 48 minus 2,400. Again, positive cash flow, negative cash flow. This is from operating cash flow. 72,331 in year 2 minus the net working capital. Year 3, 99,243 minus the net working capital. Year 4, 85,809. Remember, in year 4 we had a positive net working capital. Year 5 we had an operating cash flow plus all these things that we got at the end, 141,948.54 equal to 196,525.66. Are we done yet? Absolutely not. Now what we have to do, we have to put everything else at the same level. Use the time value of money and discount everything at 10%. In other words, all these figures will have to be discounted at 10%, raised to the appropriate time period. Obviously, we don't do the year 0 because year 0 is today. So let's do that. Discounted at 10%, we have to take negative 222, then discount all these at 10%. And when we do that, we come up with the figures. And when we add up all the net present value of the payment, the total cash inflow from all the present value is 342,817.60, and we had to pay upfront 222,000. So if we take this number plus this number minus, we have a positive net present value of $120,817.60. Do we accept the project? And the answer is yes. NPV is positive. Summit will accept this project and sell those summer coolers. Once again, would you expect to see this on the CPA exam as a complete project? I doubt it. On the CMA, possible. In your accounting courses, for sure. What should you do now? To practice more, exercises, simulation, CMA, go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources to get you started to do better. The best investment you can make that no one can take away from you is invest in yourself, and God bless.